Hey everyone, Travis here outside of the LCS studio. No script or anything for this video. We're just going to talk about some stuff that I've heard and some stuff that was reported today about TSM, everyone's favorite team to talk about. So first off, if you haven't seen it yet, Sports Business Journal did a report today that basically was talking a little bit about how TSM was going to be pulling back from esports in some capacity. There were not a ton of details, but just overall some conversation around how sources had basically said, like, yeah, they're not going to be doing as much in esports as they have in the past. I'll link that in the description, in which case I forgot. If it's not in there, it's because I forgot. Anyway, go check that out. But I also wanted to provide a little bit more, because after that hit, we also saw that Solo had been announced, or has announced, that he's no longer with TSM, still looking to compete next year, or next split, I should say. And then some stuff I've been hearing. So in the past 24 hours, I've heard from two sources that have said that TSM had, well, the first source I heard said that they had approached their players and basically given them something like 24 hours to accept minimum salary. This is their LCS team. And for those that don't know, I believe the current minimum salary in the LCS is about $75K. I think there's some questions that maybe they're exploring or that are being explored around, like, is that number inclusive of housing and other things that you're providing? Now, as I followed up on this and I spoke to a second source, it sounds as though the situation has evolved a little bit as the representation for these players has pushed back a little bit, but we are looking at a situation where TSM is looking to make changes in their relationship with the LCS players, either in having them find new teams or take minimum salaries or something to it, close to it. We'll see what negotiations end up being. But this does fall in line also with the fact that we've seen multiple staff members, like their GM, leave and announce departures from the team. And there was a rumor that was floating around. I mean, I think a lot of the community has talked a lot about the conversation around potentially them trying to switch leagues and go to a different region. One that I had heard sort of brought up by at least one person this year was that there was this idea that they were potentially going to try to go to Brazil and get a Brazilian team, and that maybe fell through in part because, I don't know, obviously they would have to relinquish the LCS team. I don't know if they've been able to find a buyer for it, or how much they've been able to look for stuff. I don't know. But obviously we knew that at the end of last year, Reggie had been saying on the subreddit that they were going to have an announcement in February. That never materialized. It got pushed to, or maybe January, I think, initially, and then it got pushed to March. And then a recent update has said, like, they've still got other things coming along. So all this to say that I personally, after everything I've heard, I do not think as though it is true that TSM is still interested in investing into the LCS and having a presence here that is significant. I would just say, like, maybe just put an end on this. If you're a TSM fan, League of Legends TSM fan, specifically of the LCS, maybe it's time to stop being that. I would go look at other teams based on all the stuff that I've heard, because I don't think that there's likely a situation where TSM becomes relevant again in the LCS unless they are brought up by a different company or a different ownership or leadership is brought into the org. I don't know. But I think those days are over based off all the stuff I've heard. So anyway, hopefully you guys found the video interesting. If you did, please subscribe because it's that time of the year again where I have to ask for subscribers. And yeah, I'm pretty bummed because, even if I've had my differences with TSM, they've obviously been a very important brand to the LCS. And I think we're just moving to a point in time where they either won't be an important brand or they won't be in the LCS. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And shout out to Alienware for sponsoring the video. You can check out their stuff in the description below. Hello, everyone. I'm going to Raleigh next week for LCS Finals. Huge shout out to Alienware for sponsoring my coverage of that event. But also, we're going to be partnering up with FlyQuest to go to their Spring Fling to be a part of their event where we're going to be doing live Hotline League. So thank you to everybody who comes out to see that. I think we're at standby only now because tickets have sold out, but hopefully you guys can watch that live. We're going to be broadcasting it on my channel. Ollie's going to be doing her show there too. I don't know what it's called. But also, again, shout out to Alienware for sponsoring my LCS coverage of playoffs. You can check them out at alienware.com/Travis.